Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar, popping my collar, popping my collar. Ever since I can remember, I've been working these.
Welcome back, Sam the Crusher here, and I hope you enjoyed part 1 of the conversation with Matt Serra as much as I did. I'm looking forward to part 2, and I'll see you afterwards. You now may not know that you closed out the brown belt division at the World Championships with the gi.
You know what's funny about the Mundials in '99
Mm-hmm.
is I have a gold medal
Mm-hmm.
because at the time, I was training, in Brazil I trained with Baja.
Yep.
And we all advanced, and they asked me,
Mm-hmm.
all the Baja advanced, man, don't compete versus us because
Right.
Enzo's with us and
Right.
whatnot. You got a gold medal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You won.
Yep.
And now you look it up on Wikipedia or something. It says I got third.
Yeah.
What the fuck? How'd that work out? I would have kept fighting. Shit, man, I got a gold medal. And I also split that year in the purple belt to get my brown belt. I split it with. I had to go versus a couple Baja guys on the way.
Right.
And then in the finals, we ended up splitting the medal too.
Mm-hmm.
But then they say I got a gold medal in the Pan Ams.
Yeah. I remember that. Actually.
What is that?
So, in terms of grappling, what are your favorite positions? What do you like the best?
Oh man, that's really rough. That's a broad question.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just love jiu-jitsu, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's like my therapy. It's my lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even when you see me with some pasta on, I'm rolling. You know what I mean? All I need is one good reversal on bottom. I get on top, I crush. But listen, on the bottom, I love like attacking the legs, not just to submit, but also to be dangerous enough for the guy to get on his butt to me to get on top. And I've done that in everything from Abu Dhabi to MMA.
Right.
You know what I mean? It depends, gi or no gi, what we're talking about.
Okay.
On top, I just love jiu-jitsu. It's funny, man, because sometimes now I look at the tournaments. And I'm not destroying anybody, but guys go out there, and it's not just jump and guard. They both sit on their butt, and they're doing like they're entangling legs.
Right.
I mean,
right.
I don't. It's not that I'm hating on it. It's just a little. It's just like when Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the point system was originally created. It was what's better in a street fight.
Right.
That's when it was. I mean, that's old school. I
Right.
mean, that was you get 2 points. For a takedown.
Right.
You pass the guard, it's better for a fight.
Right.
It's better for the tournament. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For the points. You get 3 points if you pass the guard.
Yeah.
You mount the best points is the best position for the fight.
Right.
4 points hooks.
Right.
So, I mean, I have that same philosophy when I'm fighting. Like, I want to look to not just fight from the guard. I'd rather be in half guard than guard. I'd rather be cross-eyed than half guard.
Right.
Most of the time. Like, sometimes in MMA you got to switch things up a little bit, but it's the same philosophy of improving your position and not just looking to win on an advantage type of thing. So, as far as with the BJJ, what the fuck was the question again?
No, what's your favorite
I said
position?
some good shit there.
But you took it to a place that I want to go. Like, there's some people now that discount the effectiveness of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and mixed martial arts. Where do you stand on that?
What now?
They discount the effectiveness. They say BJJ isn't as effective in mixed martial arts.
No, see, that's silly because if you don't, you need to know Jiu-Jitsu. I mean, the problem is, everybody knows at some point. So if you're in the UFC and you're not at least a blue belt,
right?
Something's wrong. Now, if you're a blue belt and you're going with a black belt and you're rolling for an hour, half an hour, 20 minutes,
right?
The guy's gonna get submitted a bunch.
Right.
But you don't. If you're a blue belt and you're athletic and it's like Jiu-Jitsu is chess, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is chess. In MMA, it's got to be like speed chess where you go and you hit the timer. That's one of those things where you can't. I mean, I remember I took down Chris Lytle in my first fight, and Herb Dean, who's a very good dude. The second I hit you watch that fight. The second I hit, you gotta work. I'm standing up. You gotta take your time. You don't want to rush things.
Right.
Stand up. I'm looking to get my hand for you. Got it. He's about to step in. It's like, I gotta give me some time.
Yeah.
So, it's you can't. It's not gonna be. It's not that it's not effective.
Right.
But the same guy that I'm fighting, and I'm not saying Chris Lytle because he's a stud and I love that guy. But the same guy that I'm fighting that I'm not submitting in a fight, I roll with that guy. Give me let's just roll. I'm sure I'll get him a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe I'll mount him a bunch of times. Or maybe I'll take his back up, which is great for the fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a little different when it comes to, MMA like that because a lot of these guys know enough to defend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's if you don't know jiu-jitsu, it's UFC #1 against.
Right. And I wanted to ask you. There's been a lot of controversy in terms of the alleged
sexual assault in D.C., and that's brought questions about the responsibility of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community and instructors. What do you feel like we as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners and/or coaches and school owners, what do you feel we owe to the community and our students in terms of environment and respect?
Well, I mean, I think that comes from the top down. I mean, Lloyd Irving personally has always been a great guy to me. He's a nice guy. You know, I know him from back in the day. He's an old school guy.
Yeah, old school.
And he's a great businessman. And he really, I mean, that guy made his name. You know what I mean? He built it up. I mean, when I was in the Worlds in '99, he competed. He actually won versus a buddy of mine, Bobby Puke, we called him. I don't know what the hell his real name was, but I mean, he, it's not like some guy that was sitting on a couch and started just being good at marketing. I mean,
right.
He was a competitor.
Yeah.
And I like Lloyd. Lloyd's a good dude. But I think maybe if you get just so big, maybe it's just a little harder to control everything. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know too much about those details. I heard about it. It's just a horrible situation.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure, Lloyd's doing the best he can to...
Separate from Lloyd, I just, want to get your take on, because, I don't know anything about that. I want to get your take on what you feel.
Up, man.
Well, I brought up the community and what we owe.
Yeah.
What do you feel like? What's the culture like at your academy, at Serra BJJ?
The biggest thing is, man, I think that besides obviously a good product, as far as good technique,
yes.
the technique I learned and I pass on from my master, Henzo Gracie, is the environment. Like I always, I'm on the mat, I'm like, listen, it's a good energy in the academy, good vibes, good crowd. I don't care as much about having the next champ if he's got a bad attitude.
Right.
Like, I mean, you get one knucklehead in there thinking he's like acting like a tough guy, dude. It's like a revolving door in my academy. They come in, I send them right out and tell them to go down the block somewhere or something. I don't need it.
Right.
I'd rather deal with a guy that just wants to, I mean, not just a guy that wants to just get in shape. It's all walks of life is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I could have a mat full of people just loving jiu-jitsu and training, and not one of them will be a world champion in anything.
Right.
But it makes me happy that I'm making these guys' lives happier,
Awesome.
My kids' program is great. If I could get a kid that's going to get out of, escaping headlocks, taking a back from a bully, that a bully can't pin him down, or he stood up for himself because he has more confidence, that is more important to me than anything. So, I just like a good environment.
That's awesome.
Obviously, I like my school being a place where people come to relieve stress, not to add any stress. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
I don't want anybody. I tell my instructors all the time when they're on the mat, everybody, a new person, make sure that guy is introduced to everybody on the mat. You're lining them up at the end. By the way, Bob is new here. Before you leave, introduce yourself to him. You know what I mean? Only because I don't want anybody to come in feeling like that kid in gym class or that kid at the lunch table that doesn't have any friends or anything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
It's almost like the island of misfit toys. You
Yeah.
see that thing? I know. But that's the environment I like.
Any last things you want to say, or to the people that'll be watching this? Anything that you think they should know about Matt Serra that maybe hasn't been put out there yet?
Oh man, I don't know, man. I know you want these broad questions.
I
Just
do.
bring them in a little
Dude,
bit.
the crusher.
You know me
The
forever.
crusher brings it.
You are the crusher, man. I'll turn this camera back on you, man. But I know earlier, before the camera was on, you were asking me about the gi and no gi situation.
Right.
Like, what do I think about that?
Right.
You do not. I mean, I know there's a lot of things coming up where, man, I don't need a gi because I don't, train. I don't have to fight in a gi when I'm in MMA and in UFC. I don't train in a gi. But I feel to be the best practice. I think the gi has a lot. I look at the gi as a jacket. It's a jacket, man. For just self-defense purposes, man, I'm more likely to get into a street situation living in New York with a guy wearing something with a collar, whether it's a denim jacket, a heavy flannel, a North Face jacket. I don't want a guy getting a blue belt under me. If he's getting attacked, he can't use that to sweep somebody, put somebody to sleep with a chokehold.
Right.
I mean, it's more than just, is it going to be good for MMA? I'm more likely to get into a confrontation with somebody wearing something I could use against them than me fighting at the beach.
Right.
I don't go to the beach too much. But, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's one thing. Another thing is, with the gi, and I always believe in doing both. Like, I'm not looking for a collar if it's not there. I'm not one of those guys.
Right.
But, for the guy on bottom, I have athletic guys. They can explode, they can get up. They can explode, they get up.
Right.
Now, you put a pair of pants on, they're going. The guy's got that pants, they're down. What do they do, man? You know what I'm saying? What if they go with a better wrestler? They have to be dangerous down there. So, they have to learn how to break the grips. They have to learn how to do the butterfly guard sweeps. They have to learn to get the angles on the bottom. And if they could just get up and leave, sometimes they don't do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the gi has somebody being able to control them more on top. So if the guy on bottom, it's very beneficial. For the guy on top, with your posture, you try to stand up without the gi on, it's way easier than trying to stand up with the gi on. Hand in a collar. I'm trying to do a low pass. The guy's got the collar. He's threatening to choke me. Strategically, I have to find other ways past the guard. Just them trying to manipulate my balance, trying to shake me back and forth with that gi on with these killer grips. It's a bitch. So, but it's necessary. Then I take it off. I'm flying. So I believe the gi has a lot of benefits.
Awesome.
You know.
Awesome.
But other than that, you asked me about my website, serrabjj.com. On Twitter, what is it? Matt Serra UFC. That's it, man.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt.
Hey, man. Thank you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Matt Serra. I first met Matt about 10 years ago when he was a grappling legend that jiu-jitsu guys just wondered about. Could he really be that good? Anyway, I walked up to him and introduced myself. We had some common friends, Paul Creighton, Chad McGrun, MMA fighters, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters that we knew, that Matt trained with. I think I said something like, thought you'd be taller. He just laughed. He gave me that Matt Serra smile, and he gave me as good as he got. Anyway, didn't have to be nice to me then. He could have just been a big shot. But he wasn't. He was a really nice guy, real, down to earth. Since then, he's become a world champion, UFC fighter, television personality, UFC world champion. I got to spend a little time with Matt Serra this past weekend. And guess what I found out? He's still the same guy. I hope you got a little taste of that on this interview. Anyway, I had a great time. Hope you did too. See you next time. Off the Man with the Crusher.
Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar, popping my collar, popping my collar. Ever since I can remember, I've been working these. Then they better put my money in my hand, Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar, popping my.